Hello there in Math Magic Land. Today we're going to talk about mean, median, mode, and range. Please follow along. Today's notes you'll find the template for today's notes in pages 1 through 8 in your new Central Tendency booklets. I do want to throw this out there. There will be opportunities for you guys to beat me to the answers. I know how much you love to do that. Please do that. I'm giving you permission to do that so that you can get some good practice in during the notes. So we're going to start by talking about mean, and we reviewed this on Friday, but the mean is the average of a group of numbers. So if we have the set 2, 5, 2, 1, and 5, the mean would equal 3. And you find that by taking those 5 numbers, adding them together, and dividing by the number of data items there are. So in this case, that would be 5. You're going to hear us call the mean another name. We're going to call it the balance point, because really what's going on is we're taking this unbalanced list of numbers. This represents them. Here we have 2, and then 5. We'll pretend these are cookies. 2, someone has 2 cookies, someone just has 1, and then another person has 5. Well, that's not fair. Maybe fair for the folks who have 5, certainly not fair for the folks who just have 1. So another way to look at the mean is as this give and take relationship. So the folks who have 5 are going to share with the folks who have 2 or 1 until everyone has the same amount. That's really what the true definition of mean really means, no pun intended. It's also going to help us talk about the balance point, which is how we take a list of numbers that kind of has highs and lows and share the wealth until we're balanced. So our mean amount of cookies for everyone to have the same amount and it be fair would be 3. Well, how do you find the mean of numbers? This is review for all of us because we know how to do this. You're going to add the numbers together. Right now we are on page 2. So step 1 would be to add them. This would be a good time to hit the pause button and actually do that addition. And when you do add them, you get 96. Step 2, you're going to divide the sum by the number of add-ins. So our sum is 96, and we took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers, added them together to get 96. So we're going to divide 96 by 6 to get our mean. And good old-fashioned long division. You can hit pause now and get that quotient. Okay, you should have gotten 16. Love doing that by hand. So here's some practice that I want you to do on your own. You have 2 of these on page 2. Go ahead and find the mean. And then it continues on page 3. You've got 2 on page 3 as well. So we'll hit pause here and have you do that on your own. Okay, for this set, you should have gotten 11. For this set of numbers, our mean, once you add them together and divide by 4, is 13. Here, when you add those 5 numbers together and divide by 5, you should have gotten a mean of 8. And here, when you have those 4 numbers and you add them together and divide by 4, you should have gotten a mean of 38. All right, let's talk about the median. Well, that's important that we've taken the D and underlined it because the median is the middle, the number that is in the middle. And I like this because sometimes there are 2 numbers in the middle. That's going to happen when we have an even number of data items, and we're going to have to find the middle of the middle when we get to that. But you can't take the middle of something if numbers are not in order. So you can't just go and plop the middle number out. It has to first be in order. Think of medium. You've got small, medium, large, or extra small, small, medium in the middle, large, extra large. But median, medium, middle, you have to first have them in order. So in this case, it's pretty obvious that in order, when you put those numbers in order, 7 is the middle, so 7 is the median. Well, let's look at this data. I can't just say, oh, it's 24. 24 does happen to be located in the middle, but if you look at that set of numbers, they're not in order from least to greatest. So don't forget that very important step 1. Step 1 says arrange the numbers from least to greatest. And so our first step is to do just that. Now we're going to take the number that falls in the middle, and it's actually 21. That's important because if you had gone with the first list with them all mixed up, you would have gotten the wrong answer. So please take the time to put them in order. Now, and then step 3, when you have a new set of numbers, and this is on the top of page 4, now we have 6 numbers. Therefore, it's even, and 2 numbers will end up in the middle. Well, some of us can mentally say, okay, if I have 21 and 25, the middle of the middle is, you could probably do that mentally, I'm not going to give it away. But there is a process to solve for the middle. There's only one middle. There's only one number that can be in the true middle. We're going to look at the process for finding that median when it's not this obvious. So it's going to come somewhere, let me backtrack, between 21 and 25. Well, when 2 numbers come in the middle like they did in this list, we're going to average them. That takes us back to the mean. You'd add the 2 numbers together. 21 plus 25 is 46. And then divide by 2. Since there are 2 numbers, we add it together. Our median for this even set of data is 23. And that makes sense to me because plopped right between 21 and 25 is 23, if you're kind of skip counting with your odd numbers. So let's practice. Don't forget to put those numbers in order. And it just so happens that 10 fell in the middle with this set as well. 10 is our median. And I'm going to give you the opportunity to press pause here and do some practice with the median. Don't forget to put them in order, and don't forget that when 2 numbers come in the middle, you have to find the middle of the middle. Please hit pause. Okay, so with this set, you should have gotten a median of 11. They're odd, so we don't have to do any averaging there. Here, when we put those numbers in order from least to greatest, there's 2 numbers in the middle, so our median is going to come between 12 and 14. Many of you can mentally say that's 13, but we'll use the averaging technique just to be sure. And then with this last list, if you put that in order, 2 numbers come in the middle. It's not as obvious here, so it's great that we have a strategy to find it when it's not as obvious. Add the two middle numbers together, divide by 2 to average them. Our median for this even set of data is 60. Now I'm going through the notes quickly. The beauty of this being a video is that you can always rewatch it at home. Let's talk about the mode. The mode is the most. The mode is the most popular. So if I was to ask you a question like, what is the mode of the professional football teams that everyone really likes because they're awesome and we all want to follow a football team that is wonderful and awesome in every way? And of course the mode in that case would be the Green Bay Packers. So that's a great example of the mode. This is just kind of a pictorial representation. The most popular scent, that would be the hat that most of you guys would wear, though. I don't know. I could see y'all wearing that hat. I actually could see you rocking the pink and yellow hat too. So those would be our modes. Baseball caps are a la mode today because they're in fashion. So it's the number that appears the most or the most frequently. So here we have a list of numbers, and there are 2 ones and only 1 of everything else. So 1 would be our mode. So it's always great to get into the habit of listing numbers from least to greatest. That way, when numbers are side by side, you can very easily determine the frequency or the number of times the numbers occur, and 18 would be our mode here. If ever I'm going too fast, I want to encourage you to just hit pause and take some time to record the notes. Our mode is 8 here. See how easy it is to find the mode once you put those numbers in order. Ooh, what about here? So we look for the mode and everything appears just once. Well, if we all took a poll on what was our favorite movie that is currently out and everyone had a different answer, there is no most popular movie. So since all of these numbers appear just one time, there is no mode. There's nothing that's the most popular. There's no mode, and that's okay. You're not always going to have a mode. You will always have a mean. You will always have a median. You will always have a range. We'll talk about that next, but you're not always going to have a mode. And then in some cases, oops, sorry, you guys are going to now take an opportunity to find the mode. Please locate the mode here. Okay, of course the mode is 9. 9 is the number that appears the most. Here's another example for the mode. 21 is the number that appears the most. And then in some cases, like in this case, I have 2 21s and 2 22s. Well, you can have 2 most populars. You know, we might have some folks who said, I think Captain America is the best movie out there now. And other folks might say, no, I don't even know what's out there now. Something else is most popular. You can have 2 popular choices. And in that case, we would have 2 modes, and we call that bimodal. So whenever you have 2 modes, I'll go ahead and write that in there. Sometimes you'll hear or you'll see the word bimodal. That just means there are 2 modes in the data. Okay, and lastly, we're going to talk about the range. The range is the distance between the numbers. So to find the range, you're going to take the difference between the greatest value and the least value. So if I had a list of 7 numbers, the range of numbers. So the range of numbers is the measure between the smallest value and the largest value. So it's really clear to see if you put the numbers in order from least to greatest, pick the smallest, pick the largest, and if you want to find the space between or the difference between, you would subtract. So we take 13 minus 1 and we get 12, our range. So step 1, arrange the numbers in order from least to greatest. By the way, that's a reoccurring theme. It looks like, and I would certainly encourage you to put the numbers in order from least to greatest, and right away you've got your range, you've got your median, you've got your mode, and you just have to do some calculation to get your mean. But that first step, if you do that, you're going to have quite a few of these central tendencies almost immediately found. So the range between these, the smallest number and the greatest number, or the difference between them, could be found by taking 27 and subtracting 18 from it. And we would get a range of 9. You have a few more examples. I'm going to have you hit pause and do that. Okay, for this set, our smallest number is 4, our greatest is 29, and our range is 25. And then for this set, our smallest number is 21, our greatest number is 32, and our range was 11. Our largest number is 31 here, and the smallest number is 3 here. So the range between the two is 28. And lastly, our largest number is 41, our smallest is 7, our range is 34. So thank you. I want to thank this company. I borrowed their PowerPoint, wanted to throw a shout out to them. And I look forward to seeing you guys really soon. Please do the practice assignment after this video.